We're going to get started on motion graphics with Flash, and this will be session number 1. The session is about creating an animated sequence by adding something in frames or subtracting something in frames, and I'll show you how to do this. I don't have a handout for this, so what you're going to have to do is just kind of watch the movie and catch how I do this. First of all, we're using Flash Professional, Flash CS6. It'll be found in your Adobe Web and Design Premium. Make sure you get CS6. And you can create a desktop shortcut if you want to, but I'm using a Mac here. I'm not connected to my network at school, so I don't have my H drive, I don't have the L drive, but I'm working on my Mac here, and I've got Flash running in the dock, so I'll just pull that up. Now the first thing I want to do is just show you what the idea behind this movie here today. What I'm doing in my movie is making a pizza appear before your eyes. You've got some crust and some sauce appears on there, and you can see how it's animated. We've got green peppers, we've got black olives, we've got some pepperonis that pop on there, some cheese, and then what's going to happen after all that's on there is it begins to disappear. Alright, so when I say animation by adding or animation by subtracting, here's what I mean. In this part of the movie, it's, there's something new being added in each frame as we go along. Alright, once it gets to the point where the pizza is all put together, then what happens is a little bit of the pizza gets taken away in each frame, and as time goes by, there's more and more and more that gets taken away, and eventually it's all gone. There it goes. Alright, so you could actually do this movie either way today. You could do a combination of both like I did here. You could do it by adding something new in every frame, or creating a picture and then subtracting a little bit in every frame, or you could do both, add and then subtract. Now I'm going to hop out of Flash here for a minute so you can kind of see what it looks like when it starts up. Again, you'll have to go to Start and All Programs in your Adobe Web Design Premium and look for Flash CS6. I'll just start it down here in my dock and fire it up because I want you to see how it's going to work when it first starts. This is the splash screen that you'll get, and it will take a couple of minutes, or not a couple of minutes, but a little bit of time to load up here. And here it is. There is a dialog box right here in the middle that you can use to get started, and this is the easiest way to do it as far as I'm concerned. Right here in the center column where it says Create New, and we're just going to do this first button in ActionScript 3.0. It's really just creating a new movie. Now you could also go up to File and New and do it that way, but I'll just hit this first button right here, Create New ActionScript, and it makes a stage here. This is called a stage. Now it looks pretty small right now, so I'm going to come up here to the top right on this little zoom window, and I'm going to say fit in window. You don't have to do that, but I kind of like filling up my workspace with that stage. The tools are over here on the right hand side of the screen, and they're fairly similar to things you've seen before, like in Adobe Illustrator. There's a paintbrush, there's a rectangle tool, there's tools in here that will look fairly familiar, and we'll learn about them as we go through all of this. Alright, one of the things that you'll find is like if you're using a paintbrush, way down here at the bottom you've got little settings here for brush size and brush shape. There aren't a ton of brush shapes, by the way, but just want to point that out, that as you're working with a tool over here, a lot of times there will be options here. Plus, in this area where it says properties, you can work with, like, I've got a paintbrush going right now. I can work with the color of the paintbrush here, and if I select the rectangle tool, I can work with the stroke and the fill of the rectangle. So all of those things just appear over here on the right of the stage. All right, well, let's take a look at how this is done. I will kind of familiarize you with the parts of the program as we move along here. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change my stage color. I'll just click my black arrow tool, and as soon as I click the selection tool or the black arrow tool, I get an opportunity here to change the stage color. If you want to change your background color, this is how you have to do it. So I'll just click here and I'll pick a color I want. I'm kind of partial to blue colors, so maybe I'll just go with a kind of a light blue. Okay, good enough. Next up, I want to make a pizza crust. So I'm going to come to this rectangle tool, but I'm going to click and hold and actually use the oval tool to do it. Right, so I'll use the oval tool. You can do the pizza crust idea too, or if you see how this is done and then you come up with another idea, that's all right. Now I'm going to stroke this pizza crust with a black outline, but I want to fill it with it's kind of a tan color. I'm going to go right here for kind of a tannish color, and I'll just stretch out an oval on the stage. It's kind of big and flat like that. All right, great. Now this is where the real movie making begins to take place, and I'm going to do this version pretty fast. If you will look down here at the bottom below the stage, this is what's called the timeline. These markings here are frames, 5 frames, 10 frames, 15 frames. And what we want to do is add a new frame to the movie and then add something new into the movie. In this case, it's going to be pizza sauce. All right. Well, to add a new frame to the movie, the easiest way to do it is the keyboard shortcut, and that is just to tap the F6 key on the keyboard. And you see what happened when I did that. I pressed F6, top row of keys, pressed F6, it added a new frame. Now, to add the pizza sauce, I'm going to get the brush tool over here on the right-hand side. I'm going to make this fill color kind of a deep red because, pizza sauce is kind of a deep reddish color. And I'm also going to go down and change the brush size a little bit because I don't want it to be too small. Medium size should be good. All right, now at frame number 2 of this movie, I'm just going to paint in some pizza sauce. And I'm not going to be terribly careful about that. I'll just paint in some of it. Okay, good enough. Now, and again, if you direct your attention down to the bottom of the timeline, I'm going to press F6 again, and that makes frame 3 of the movie, and I'm going to paint in some more pizza sauce. And I'm going to continue to do this and just work my way across the pizza crust. So I'll press F6 on the keyboard and paint in some more. And I'll press F6 and I'll paint in some more. And you know what? I might make my brush even a little bigger than what it is right now. Okay, I'll paint in some more. Press F6, paint in some more. And when I say press F6, you can't press it and hold it. You got to tap the F6 key and then paint a little bit. Tap the F6 key and paint a little bit. Tap F6 and paint a little bit. And what we're learning here is this idea of frame by frame animation. You create a frame and then you create some content in that frame. Press F6, paint a little bit. Press F6, paint a little more. Press F6, paint a little more. Press F6, paint a little more. All right, now I'm going to speed up here a little bit because I don't want to take forever doing this. All right, now I'm up to 50 frames, and it turns out that the frame speed, the frame rate in Flash is 24 frames per second. So really, my movie only lasts a little over 2 seconds right now. If you want to see what it looks like, you can press the Enter key, and you can see that animation in effect there. All right, well, let's go ahead and add some other things to it here. I'll get a slightly smaller brush now and get a green color of paint, and I'm going to do the same thing with some green peppers. I'll press F6, and I'm just going to slash these on here. Every time you see me put one of these on here, I press F6, I put one on. I press F6, I put one on. I press F6, I put one on. I press F6. So, and again, not being terribly careful about perfect location. I'm trying to get I'm trying to create a movie here. I'm just trying to get the idea. I want you to get the idea that this is one way to make a movie. All right, good enough. Now let's go with a little larger brush, and I'll get some black paint, and I'm going to throw some black olives on this pizza just by pressing F6 and just kind of clicking in here, or if you're using a graphic tablet, you can just tap the tablet and it just puts, since the brush is round, it puts those little round spots on there. Press F6, put on an olive, press F6, put on an olive. All right, time for a little bit of cheese, and again the cheese is going to be kind of a yellowy color here. And again, I want to go back to a little bit smaller brush now because the cheese shreds. And again, I am alternating. I press F6 and I put on cheese, I press F6 and I put on cheese, I press F6 and I put on cheese. You could make it, you could make it draw a face or write something, or just make some kind of scene appear. If you just do it a little bit at a time, you press F6 and you draw a little, you press F6 and you draw a little, you press F6 and you draw a little. That's how it works. I'm up to 194 frames, and that's, what have I got? 8 seconds, somewhere around there. Let's take a look at it. All right, the sauce goes on, All the other ingredients go on. And really, that would be okay if you just do something like that today. That would be fine. But I also want to show you over here that there's an eraser tool as well. And so if you want to kind of go the other direction from, you could build a picture and then erase it a little bit at a time, or you could kind of do both like I'm going to do here. I built this pizza, and now I'm going to press F6, and I'll take my eraser and I'll erase a little bit of it. And it always looks white like that when you erase, but then as soon as you lift the eraser, it looks fine. All right, and I'll press F6 and I'll erase a little bit more. Press F6 and erase some more. Press F6 and erase some more. Press F6 and erase some more. And again, hopefully you see what I mean when I say animation by adding and subtracting. Press F6 and erase some more. Press F6 and erase some more. Press F6 and erase some more. And again, when I say press F6, I'm not holding F6. I'm just tapping the key to add a frame, and then I can erase some more of that pizza. Press F6, erase some more. Press F6, erase some more. Press F6, erase some more. And eventually here I'm going to erase a big old chunk on this one. All right, press F6, erase some more, press F6, press F6. Oh look, I left a little crumb. No, I didn't, just kidding. All right, so I can press enter to run the whole movie, and here's what the whole thing looks like. The pizza gets built. That little dot there is my paintbrush. All the ingredients, and then there it goes. It disappears. I made it disappear pretty quick, but that's okay. All right, so that's the idea, and this assignment is to create, and the length of the movie is really up to you on this one, and exactly what you make is up to you on this one. What I want you to do is work on the idea of animation and do animation frame by frame, where you add something new in each frame. You add a little more content to each frame, where you take content away by using the eraser, and you wind up with, and again, you don't have to do a pizza. You can do a pizza, but if you do a different idea, totally fine with me. So folks, there you go. There you have it. That is today. Now, when you get it done, I should mention here that you'll need to go to File and go to Save As, and you'll have to save yours on your network drive. I'm not at school right now, and I'm not connected to my network drive, so you would have to get to your Drive H and save it on Drive H, and then I would want you to drag it and drop it into your Turn-In folder when you're all done. And you can just call it Movie 1 would be fine. Movie 1 would be a good file name. So there you have it, folks. That's it. That's the job. Have at it.